I do love their team games.
Or
Let's
Neptune.
have a look in with the draft, though, because, of course, we have to remember we've got at least 2 more games ahead of us, potentially 4. I got ahead of myself. Honestly, I got baited. I was so in the moment, the magic. I saw the 1, and I was like, oh.
Okay, that's how you recover. That's how you recover with Delhi against the Malians. That's going to be a rough one for the Malians. I feel like Delhi is like... I talk about this a little bit. I think Mali are really weak to getting zerged.
Yeah.
And Delhi are really good at zerging. You add those 2 together, and suddenly you have a not-so-fun time for the Malians.
Do you think Baltune expected Bruce here?
He might have expected anything but the Delhi, because I know Valdemar, and I think he personally really, really enjoys Delhi on Hill and Dale. I think like Delhi is his favorite Hill and Dale civilization. And him picking it on Dry Arabia here instead, there are other civilizations which he could have picked instead, which might have been better here, like Ottomans, for example.
Now, I'm wondering, is there a way Malians can play this? Because we saw some experimental builds, like, scouts and archers, for example.
Yeah, I mean, against a player like Valdemar, who is very likely just going to full Senate in Feudal Age, it's very rough for the Malians to hold. You've got to go, like, minimum greed on the cattle, like, a little bit at the beginning, but then you got a full stop. You got a full stop after, like, 3 or 6 cattle, and then you got to just pump out military non-stop if you want to keep up with that insane military production from the Delhi. But it looks like we're about to jump into our second game. Can Valdemar equalize the set now? Set himself up for a comeback? Or can Baltune build up on that lead that he built on early up here? We're going to go into game number 2. Malians versus the Delhi Sultanate here on Dry Arabia.
Hype it up, folks. An opportunity for Valdemar to potentially get one on the board. Definitely a Civ favorability towards him, but Baltune right now, the calculations have come in pristine. Can he find another funky way to unravel what should feel like a cozy game for Valdemar? Let's find out.
Yeah, that's going to be the question here. Upgrades already coming in for the Delhi, as they are used to. Valdemar going with the aggressive scouting route here, which he can afford as a Delhi. A civilization that will start up on the berries, so doesn't need to return with a scout anytime soon. He's just going to loop around. Oh, no. Oh,
Wait
no.
a second.
Baltune, he's chasing the scout from Valdemar. Does Valdemar see? We got to check the line of sight here. If Baltune sees this, he's going to be fine.
It's close. It's edging.
He doesn't see it.
But he goes around.
Oh, this is going to be horrible. And you can tell by Baltune's expression just now, he was like, where are sheep? There aren't any. He's completely following Valdemar's scout. This game might end just very, very quickly here.
Wild. And, we've seen these type of games. They can be devastating, right? There's a few players that run into them too often. Realistically, I'm not going to call names, you know where I'm going though. For Malians, there is a backup plan, but there's gives and takes there. If you really have to start munching on cow against Delhi, the lead they build in raw military numbers.
It's insane. And Valdemar, he's finding all the sheep here on this side. Looks like Baltune tried to cut into the scouting a little bit, not going for the corner, instead going straight. But if he sees Valdemar, oh my God!
Are you kidding me?
That is so unlucky.
Are the chances of this Baltune? He'll find 1 sheep and that might just be him.
He doesn't even see the trail of the sheep behind the scout.
You've got to be kidding me.
He sees
he gets a glimpse. 1 sheep.
There's a sheep to the right, Baltune.
He doesn't even know though, Baltune.
And Valdemar's got to get 2 there.
This is brutal, man. This is actually, I think, our most sheep-dominant game we've seen so far.
Now he's going to find the TC as well. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very rough game for Baltune. I mean, I'm just going to say it right here. Like, we're only 3 minutes in. I'm going to say it's going to take a miracle for Baltune to come back in this one.
Yeah, especially considering he hasn't got any, like, crafty, off-the-cuff options. Like, we've seen sometimes a Malian player might even consider deer just to not have to eat the cow, but he hasn't got one of those Marine Lord spawns where it's close and behind you.
Deer, yeah, they're very far forward or very far away. This is brutal. This is absolutely brutal now for Baltune.
Entire victory on the way.
17 sheep.
I can't believe that. That's
on Dry
outrageous.
Arabia. He's found 1 more.
Yeah, the sheep whisperer is not strong with Baltune.
That's brutal. That is very much brutal here. Manzikori is now gonna go up, and Valdemar, he's just brought a lot of sheep home.
And remember, the berries are glorious to the Delhi as well, so plenty of ways to compete, plenty of food to work with, and that means we should be looking at plenty of Ghazi quickly on the way at the opening of this game.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be the play here for Valdemar.
What worries me as well is we talked about maybe some off-meta options. Like I mentioned scouts, it's a bit weird. But even if you want to take those paths or feudal sofas, like these are all food-burdenous units, which you now can't easily afford.
Yeah, a couple too many villagers there on that straggler tree. Baltune going for an additional pit mine.
There's not really anything else to have them gather on underneath this TC right now. So barren of
needs
sheep.
to expand on that. More houses coming in on that now. So it's a very, very early pit mine expansion. A little bit risky considering just how kind of screwed he got with the sheep there. He's bringing back only the single one that he found.
I mean, you know, he's had so much alone time with that one sheep, he probably even gave it a little nickname at this stage. It's the only one he's ever going to see. Are you kidding me?
It's not fun right now to be a villager in Baltune space. These guys, they ought to be starving right now.
Yeah, they're probably looking at each other and licking their lips a little bit at this stage. I mean, they've got to eat something.
Massive.
And how do you feel about this blacksmith first before the stables from Valdemar? Are you a big fan of it, or would you have rather had that surge point?
I think it's not bad for Valdemar because he can play like that slow push game in this one because he knows that his food is just going to last so much longer. And Baltune just produced the first cow underneath his TC, and I think he's going to eat from it. So he's already investing into his food through the cattle there.
You know what the ultimate BM is here? You like go to the edge of the TC and you kill the sheep next to it. And then, like, you know, it's like that kind of moment, like, now beg for your food and eat it off the ground. It's like Baltune has to walk out and eat that one sheep.
That would be the ultimate BM. Archer range now also coming in. Valdemar going for that Archer Ghazi composition. Archer range now as a follow-up from Baltune. Yeah, he's busy eating from the cattle now. No ranches coming in yet for him. We're just going to be looking at a Donzo Javelin composition for him for the meantime, I'm quite sure. It's difficult for him to really scale with his pit mines right now. We can tell the second pit mine, there's only like 2 houses there right now, so he's not going to get a whole lot of value from that. He's going to try and build more houses there now. The issue is that there's already 3 Ghazi Raiders out there that are going to be on the way. That's going to be a tough timing. Archer's already on the way as well.
Especially with the Donzo count. Like, you run 2 Donzos out here. Ghazi aren't that bad at just walloping them down one by one. We see
the
all
Pierce
the time.
damage upgrade is already coming in, so once the Archers get that, suddenly they might even be able to take some trades off against some of the Javelin throwers.
And this is a nightmare. This is why Delhi is such a good hard counter to Malians. Is like, Malians should want to be able to chill. They don't want to have to come out. When do you get 2 gold veins close enough to your base that you don't have to come out? Like, it happens, but it's very rare.
Yeah. Ghazi Raider full moments are going to be deterred. First Javelin throwers are going to be in queue. But there's already 3 Archers out.
Ghazi on the way. I mean, 4 Ghazi could potentially contest this, especially if the one Donzo walks out too far. Remember, behind this, Sacred Sites are now going to be the target. Valdemar moving out, pretty much on point with Sanctity's completion.
Yeah. Okay. For a second, I thought
you thought?
Yeah. I thought for a second these would be some walls coming in there from the Delhi. Not going to be the case. Baltune wants to secure this side with some walls. Definitely going to be needed here. But it's only a single Javelin thrower, now 2.
A bold poker face there as well, with Baltune sending 1 villager on their lonesome to the north side to wall. I think Valdemar hesitated there because he saw that the Donzo's already in position here, and if you go there, it's a choke point that they can hold you back in. But he is moving now, and I think he's going to make it there before the villager gets the wall up on the north side. So Baltune going to lose an eco unit, and also Valdemar going to keep the pass open just north of here. So in and through.
Sides being taken. Scout at least going to delay 1 sacred site for a little bit. Scout actually gets killed by Valdemar.
You got stables, right? It's kind of a shrug.
Yeah, he's immediately requeued another Scout.
And remember, that wall didn't get complete on the north side for Baltune, so it's still kind of a gap he has to go and address.
Yeah.
That's going to keep him his base longer. Valdemar has to be smiling, right? 1 sacred site to go, and we're even now walling in the ones he has.
Yeah, and behind that, I mean, now he can just think about dropping a market within the next minute and start trading out those resources that he's going to be getting. 250 gold per minute now coming in for him. And I like the walls, they're very efficient on that sacred side, going to make sure that not a single unit is just going to be able to run by and immediately threaten a decap.
No. For me, you know, do you usually like when Delhi just full-on play the sacred side, or do you kind of try to look for a castle age trend?
Oh, just play the sacred side. Yeah. At the moment, Delhi, I feel like it's just that all-in, win it or lose it civ. Sometimes you can go for like the really, really long games. We know players that go for them. But every time that happens, it's more of like a comeback kind of situation rather than a dominant display.
A rough time for Baltune here. The Blacksmiths, of course, heavily delayed compared to Delhi. So overall, Valdemar, not really something you want to contest just yet. But the good news is Baltune does have the undermesh down the way. So he should be looking to conflict around this sacred site in the center in the next 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. Donzo numbers have been building up quite nicely, but the archers are there, and that's going to be enough to definitely one-shot, maybe even... Like, maybe you can even split them up into 2 control groups and start killing multiple Donzo at the same time, or you just go line formation and let them do their thing. Javelin throws as well in enough numbers in order to one-shot the archers. The issue there is that the javelin throws will take way longer to kill the archers than the archers will to take the Donzos.
We've seen this time and time again. I mean, like a different comparison, like Byzantines, they stopped doing javelin contract against Delhi because of that, right? It's like they got swarmed and the attack speed is just absurd. Yes, it takes a while to kill a javelin, but when you're machine gunning and they're overkilling, the trade-out is just more favorable for the Delhi.
Yeah. Baltune, not a single cattle ranch out so far. He's just been busy eating off them right underneath his TC. Second sacred site now getting walled in by Valdemar.
Be a recap coming through. Yeah. How do you feel about Steeled Arrow here? Do you think that maybe there's more value in, I mean, Bloomery or like the lever works to make yourself a bit more tanky? Yeah, for Baltune.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you're massing javelin throwers because that also means that you're going to be able to do a lot more damage to the Ghazi when you're kiting back and forward.
I guess you've got the Donzos also benefiting a lot from their javelin throw, right, as it does plus them.
Oh, maybe. Is he?
Skull up, goes down,
oh,
but he gets it!
Oh, just in time. That was really close.
That was absurdly close, but now with the wall's in the way, Baltune has a little bit of a problem here. A lot of Donzos at the time being should deter the Ghazi, but notice that Valdemar's probing. He's trying to just pressure this retreat.
Oh, he's going for it.
A little bit of a pincher there, but hesitation. Baltune not willing to hang in range of the archers.
It's going to be a lot of Donzos going down. The retreat 3 have fallen so far already. And yeah, Baltune doesn't want to take this fight. And Valdemar, he's very happy for any fighting opportunity here that he can get.
He's edging. He's got the military mass lead here. Archer count, not shy about it. Donzo's getting better out of position. Enough Ghazi to still threaten this, and Baltune needs to get back into the choke points and start to hunker down.
TC, fully garrisoned up now. But yeah, the Donzos, they're falling so quickly. The attack speed from the Tower of Victory also just means that they're gonna further just get way more speed when it comes to killing those. And now it's 24 to 40 military.
Free eco lead overall. Valdemar just starting to trickle that lead. We have to remember behind this, I think the second pit mine did get fully surrounded, but compare that to 3 sacred sites, right? It's a rough and a tough, and luckily, at least, Baltune did get that decap on the south side before the 3rd sacred site got walled in.
Yeah, that's worth quite a lot. It means that at least there's not going to be like a direct like timing going on for him, against him. So he'll be fine with just massing units. The issue is you can mass units as much as you want as the Malians. In the end, once that Delhi ball of death comes, your army isn't going to be enough.
I feel like you want to make sure that you hit it before you hit 200 pop as Delhi, though, because the weird thing there is, like, you know how it is. When you both get 200 pop, it's like, let's go Castle Age. That's a cursed word to Delhi when they've gone for 200 pop feudal, right? Like, you're going to have 100+ units you cannot upgrade.
We're seeing the first cattle now coming in, and they're getting put into the cattle ranches now instead of being straight up taken under the TC. So some passive income scaling coming in for Baltune. Yeah, I think Valdemar, he wants to probably wait until he's depleted like the last of his natural food source, or about to deplete his natural food sources. Because that's when he knows, okay, I've been like taking everything from the map that I can. Can we actually check under his TC? Are there still sheep remaining under his TC? There's still sheep remaining. 13 minutes into the game. He still has 4 live sheep and 4 half-harvested sheep.
Still has the deer to the south, deer on the center he's doing now. He's still got berries to the north. It's absurd.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a sheep disadvantage does to you in this game. Now Sacred Site Victory is going to start being approached, but it's a timing that Baltune should be fairly happy with the amount of delay that he's been able to cause.
One of those sheep is never going to get eaten, by the way. He's actually on the other side of that palisade wall, just standing there.
It's got to live a long and happy life.
The best part is just there is like, dude, what am I doing? Oh, I'm a spy. That's right. It's almost just like mocking Baltune for the lack he was able to get, and now Javelin count is getting pretty big at this stage, but we mentioned this already, like, you know, the archers, like, what's that? I feel like is it around 1.6 to 1.8 archer advantage Delhi can beat Javs?
I mean, I feel like in this situation right now, when you have like enough javelins to be able to one-shot the Ghazi Raiders, might be better here, but Valdemar, he's actually playing this really, really smart. He's leading in with the archers, only just now sending the Ghazi Raiders after, splitting them off a little bit as well. He's actually losing a fair lot of them right now underneath the TC, not really getting too much value out of them. A lot of the archers going down as well. There's still a good amount of Donzos up there behind this.
The Pathfinder feels a bit funky from the Ghazi, right? It's almost like just like break them off and hunt for a target right now. He's only got 8 left over. Archer mass is still big, and Baltune has definitely felt the sting. Idle time now on the gold. More workers still hanging there and being lost. Baltune now behind by 10 workers, and Valdemar starting to pull further and further ahead here.
Yeah, still has a lot of resource in the bank, more income as well. Has enough gold to further buy more resource up behind this, and now
this has to be over, surely.
It could very well be. I mean, the TC is doing a lot of damage, and the Ghazi Raider numbers are fairly diminished here. Valdemar, he's gonna pull back for the time being, but behind this, I'm still not convinced that Baltune's gonna be in a decent position. Granted, he does have a lot of the cattle, which makes up somewhat for the losses of villages that he suffered here.
6 to 7 villages, right?
Actually, like looking at the pure military numbers, 28 to 34, yeah. If Baltune can keep this up, and Valdemar misses his timing opportunity to go for the A jump.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's missing his real timing.
For Delhi, it could be.
This has been the sore spot. Check that south side sacred side.
Again.
He decapped. Like, if this timer was going, it feels like a win for Delhi. But Baltune keeps snaking this single sacred site and removing the win condition of Valdemar.
That is very, very crafty here, and Valdemar, he should finally just go for it and start walling that one in as well. Because of the lack of the walls on that one single sacred site that kept this from happening the entire time.
I'm going to be the guy on his bicycle going backwards here, because I'm not convinced now. I don't feel like Delhi are in the driving seat. If the timer was down to 6 minutes,
Look at the resource for Baltune. He's about to go up to Castle Age.
That's the thing, right? Like, what do you do now? You can't rush Castle Age.
I think that all-in was just maybe a little bit too early. Maybe he can still pull it off, though. I think maybe he can still pull it off once that all-in comes in. If there aren't, like, sofas prepped already.
But he's holding back on the sacred site instead. And Baltune now triggers a tech up. Now remember, you do not have much time here. 30 seconds to get veterancy is a small window. If Valdemar's not already diving the base, has to be,
the amount of units, like, it's double the military pop again.
Maybe if he preps 2 or 3 stables here,
you need some sofas for this. If you don't have sofas, it's going to be really, really rough. And Valdemar, he's gathering up his troops again.
And it is not a full Lani, it's a half Lani.
There are some cows at least next to. Okay, there we go. Stables are now getting dropped, but this might be a little bit too late potentially here. The army's messing up. 42 archers again, and Baltune, he didn't remass his javelin throwers. He's still only at 16. He was at like 24 earlier.
He's hauling so much gold right now. I don't even know if he spent it quick enough. He finally realizes a few more javelins queued up as Valdemar once again into the breach.
Villagers on the woodline will have to evacuate. First couple do go down. Castle Age hasn't finished yet, and I think as soon as that finishes, Valdemar is just going to full on A move into the base of Baltune. Up to 20 Ghazi Riders again. That is so many horsemen here. Such a big meat shield. I love this from Baltune. Look at the information denial. He went down to only 1 villager building the Grand Falani Corral because he knows as soon as that finishes, Valdemar is going to all-in him.
And look at the sofa potential here. 3 stables now up. It's going to be a burn from the north side. Valdemar going in for those pit mines again when he needs to be going straight into the base. Baltune, tech up complete. 2,000 resources to play with, split between food and gold. Queues all of the upgrades, but now he needs to surrender some territory. You cannot fight before the veterancy is in.
He's going to lose the cattle, though, for it.
He left his... Look at the movement on the map. He's leaving the base entirely.
Hey, he's just going to give it over. I mean, he has resource, right? He needs to queue Sofa. Okay, Sofa now in queue.
This is wild. Valdemar, he burns the ranch. He doesn't kill the cattle
alone. Yeah, they're still going to generate at least half the food.
Oh my god, he needs to kill this army. He knows it, but the veterancy is going to trigger here. Baltune, 8 sofas queued up. He continues the game of cat and mouse, but Valdemar is finally in range and looking to punish.
Yeah, Baltune needs to start kiting against the Ghazi Raiders.
The
It's
A-clicks
only
are
one
hurting as
volley.
well. Voldemar keeps A-clicking and hitting buildings with the archers.
Oh, that is actually hurting him so much right now.
Chases on now. Javelins are going to look for the trade out. Donzo's being held far in reserve. The first Sofas are in the field. Imported armors just 20 seconds away here. Can Voldemar break Baltune and open this series up? Surge on the backside. Ghazi, get on top of the Javelins. There's no running away anymore. Baltune is going to lose the infantry and be left with only a handful of Sofas to try and hold with.
Imported armors coming in as well behind this. This is really do or die right now for Baltune. Can he hold this? There's still 63 units in from Valdemar. The Javelin number has been reduced to a mere shadow of its former self. Hammer has come in now.
I just don't know if the Sofas are able to get out quick enough is the problem here. They're still getting picked one by one. Voldemar admittedly doesn't have the whole army here, right? It's actually realistically about 30 in the base, but that's still a huge outnumbering.
Sofa really tanky now up against the archer. Valdemar realized that and now starts focusing the javelin throws instead.
Surely he can't do that. Surely the Swede can't do something so sweet, so vital, and so brutal here. More stables now being prepped.
Oh my god, on the proxy.
I think he's also gathering, is that Berry's board? He's gathering everything on the south side right now. Baltune has basically become a nomad here.
He has. Valdemar now switching over into Spearman, knows that he just needs something in order to deal with that. There's still 7 javelin throws alive, and Baltune, he lives somehow. I'm not sure what's going on here anymore right now at this point in time. Valdemar, though, he seems wise to that something must have gone on with the economy. Baltune must have migrated somewhere else, and he does split up his army a little bit.
Villagers are going to have to run back to the safety of the main, but now with the military numbers reduced, that's great. Baltune can be back in his base. The Sofa count up to 10. He needs to buffer this away and now go hunting, because although he has survived, it has come at price. 47 eco to 65, and still not a full army.
In any other normal game, the Sacred Side would have long decided the game by now, but Baltune every now and then with that sneaky decap, buying himself so much time in the set.
Can he creep on in? Can he do it again? Sofas, you know, when you reach this spam point, they can burn through those walls very quickly. You have to remember as well, Castle Age does increase the torch damage inherently, so you have a quicker burn through here. And Valdemar, with only 11 spearmen, it feels like you're going to be spread thin, like a tiny knob of butter across a whole loaf of bread.
Yeah, and Baltune, he's doing a really good job right now of just splitting up his Sofa numbers into different groups, like one here, a couple there, then a bigger group that's coming from the sideline.
Just sending it to the predictable final berry patch where Valdemar has, I think, about 10 villages there. And can we check for textiles? I think he does have them. It's just Sofa's hit that hard now. Oh my god!
Oh, look at that. He's taking the deer from Baltune, but he pulled the entire army back. The villagers there are a little bit exposed now.
He's being hunted right now. Textiles has been queued up, but it's not going to be that quick, right? He's still about 15 seconds away here. The raid potential has been shut down. Valdemar has got 5 minutes to go, but the military lead has shrunk, and he's still nowhere near the idea of Castle Age here.
Yeah, and Baltune, he's now switching into veterancy archers, and Valdemar, he's running out of his natural resource. He's now taking the deer from Baltune. If those dry up, or if those are getting contested, he might have to go for a farm transition. I mean, that's already, like, the archer count can build quite quickly here. Baltune has a lot of food remaining. Villagers going down. No textiles definitely showing here.
Finally comes in now, but it's still a lot of idle time here when Valdemar needs to keep pumping units. The military lead is shrinking. The eco lead has evaporated in this game. And although that Sacred Site timer looks like it's a strong point still, always remember the villagers down here can just pull and burn through this and decap at any point.
I can't believe this archer count is building relatively quickly for Baltune behind this as well. Getting +2 pierce damage now as well. Once he gets that, and he's at like 20 archers, he can start taking the fights convincingly.
And if you really need it, Poison Arrow, but the reality is you're going to be killing so fast. Poison Arrow just kind of feels irrelevant here. Even the level 2 eco upgrade, remember that will affect the Fulani. In fact, we should do a Fulani check here because I'm wondering, has he had time? Has he had the extra eco? He has. He's been prepping it. Cows are back inside. They never got killed, remember? Yeah. He's still got to fill the others, but he's definitely going to fill his belly here with Archer so
far.
far.
And idle time cost on the deer. Valdemar, he's got no more military units in production right now.
He's going to keep baiting the fight.
And there are the archers with the veterancy.
They reveal themselves, even a few javelins left over, like, hey, remember me. Sofas go immediately on top of the archers, and Valdemar may have been forced to overextend.
This is the craziest Mali Delhi game that I've ever seen, I gotta tell you.
And it's all that one sacred site, right? Imagine Valdemar's position in this. He walls one sacred site, he walls two, that third one. Why would a defensive Malian player ever be going there? But not once, not twice, I think it's 3 times Baltune resets the clock to get himself now in control of this game.
And eco lead now suddenly favoring Baltune once again.
3.5 minutes left.
It's been 14 minutes since Baltune was ahead in economy. Now he is it once again. Archers focusing down the Ghazi Raiders and the Spearmen.
They can just frontline this,
now he
right?
can, yeah.
Yep.
Not enough Spearmen remaining. Getting taken down really, really quickly. Every now and then the Sofa do just fall back to use the Archers there as a meat shield. If the Archers from Valdemar get hung up on the Javelin throw, it's going to take them a lot of
conversion
time killing
point.
them.
Valdemar needs to get behind the walls and just hide there. It's his only hope, his only way. But these Sofas are so tanky with imported armors, they could just stand here and burn through anyway. Pushes him onto the sacred site. Can Valdemar somehow, some way hold for 2.5 more minutes?
Oh my god.
No way.
I think we can see the relief on the faces of the players right now, because it looks like Baltune might be able to do it. And there it is. GG gets called. Baltune with the victory, with the Malians against the Delhi. A cursed matchup for the Malians, but Baltune makes it happen with a miracle in this game, number 2.
The biggest comeback we have seen in this tournament so far. Back up against the wall. This looks over. This man is definitely not the sheep whisperer. I don't think he even knows how to make a sheep noise in this game. Yet somehow he finds his way out of a rough matchup, a horrible start. He finds a way to unravel the strategy and now puts Valdemar's feet against the flames, up against the wall, and facing elimination if he drops one more game.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be very rough for the mental for Valdemar, right? Like, he definitely felt like he was in the driver's seat in that game. It just didn't quite work out for them. Look at that military value lead that we're seeing here. My God. And the economic count at the same time. Absolutely insane how Baltune somehow managed to come back in that one.
Absolutely flummoxed. We feel like we see this a lot where Delhi, they dive the main base and they kind of lose the lead. And, you know, the confidence Valdemar must have been thinking in that moment, the time is going. I've got this. You know, you're in a very high octane environment. You have to keep that in mind. It's very easy to lose a simple detail like one side. And, you know, especially when you talk about a meta where nowadays Delhi players don't wall sacred sites, right? It's seen as very inefficient because it keeps you away from your Zerg number. Now, with that in mind, even just adding in 2, you saw how it kind of affects his approach, his count. He probably feels like he doesn't want to do it the third because there's no contest, but you just can't fault Baltune, man. Like, what a play on so many levels here. Just shows you the talent this guy plays with, right? Renowned in 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, but now proving the point in 1v1s too.